What if I told you that you could totally transform your brain, make it sharper, more creative, and more resilient with something you probably already do every single day? Okay, let's get right into it because we're talking about walking, and the science behind its incredible impact on our minds is just, well, it's mind-blowing.
And I'm not exaggerating. Neuroscientist Shane O'Mara actually calls walking a superpower, and you know what? The evidence is piling up to show he's absolutely right. This isn't just about getting your steps in, it's about unlocking your brain's true potential.
So, this is really the big question, isn't it? Could this simple rhythmic act of just putting one foot in front of the other really remodel the complex architecture inside our skulls? Well, as you're about to see, the answer is a huge resounding yes.
To really get why walking is so powerful, we have to start with a really fundamental idea. Our brains didn't just evolve to sit around and think. They evolved to move.
It's something called the motor-centric view of the brain. The idea is that from an evolutionary perspective, the brain's #1 job was to manage complex movement. All that other stuff, thinking, planning, remembering, all of it developed to help us navigate the world. So movement isn't just some side effect of having a brain. It's one of the main reasons we have one in the first place.
And this just illustrates the point perfectly. The sea squirt. When it's young, it's mobile, it swims around, it's got a basic brain to help it find a home. But the second it finds a nice rock to attach to for the rest of its life, it does something wild. It digests its own brain and nervous system. Why? Because once it stops moving, it just doesn't need them anymore. It is nature's ultimate use it or lose it message.
Okay, so our brains are built for movement. That's clear. But what happens right after you go for a walk? Well, the effects are immediate, and they're surprisingly powerful.
You see, the moment you start walking, your brain releases this little cocktail of feel-good chemicals. We're talking serotonin, dopamine, and boom, your mood is instantly lifted. At the same time, your stress levels start to drop, your creativity gets a jolt, and your focus just gets sharper. These aren't things you have to wait for, they're the immediate rewards for getting up and moving. And that creative spark, it's not just a feeling. A Stanford study actually put a number on it. They found that walking increased creative output by an average of 60%. 60! And it didn't matter if you were inside on a treadmill or outside in the park. The simple act of walking just opened up the floodgates for new ideas. Oh, what about stress? Well, walking is one of the fastest ways to dial it way down. Research shows that just a 20-minute walk can measurably lower your levels of cortisol, which is our body's main stress hormone. It's like hitting a physiological reset button for your whole system.
Now, this is where the real magic happens. All those immediate effects on the left, that mood boost, that stress relief, they're kind of like the gateway. When you make walking a real habit, they start to build on each other and compound into these profound, long-term changes you see on the right. We're talking about physically remodeling your brain for the better.
So yeah, let's talk about that remodeling. This is where walking goes from being a quick pick-me-up to a serious, long-term investment in your cognitive future.
I mean, it sounds like something out of science fiction, right? Can you actually increase the size of parts of your brain just by walking?
The answer is a definitive yes. One landmark study showed that regular brisk walking actually increased the volume of the hippocampus by 2% in just 1 year. Now, why is that such a big deal? Well, the hippocampus is your brain's memory hub, and it naturally shrinks as we age. So this means walking doesn't just slow down that decline, it can actually reverse it, effectively turning back the clock by 1 to 2 years. And it's not just about size, it's about how well everything is connected. A 12-week walking program actually strengthened the connections across 3 crucial brain networks. You've got the default mode network, which helps you daydream and connect ideas, the salience network, which sharpens your focus, and the frontal parietal network, which helps with decision-making. Basically, walking helps all your brain's key departments talk to each other way more efficiently. So how is all of this actually happening? What's the mechanism going on under the hood? Let's zoom in a little bit and look at the chemistry of how walking works its magic. I want you to meet BDNF. It stands for Brain-Derived Neurotrophic Factor. But scientists often just call it Miracle-Grow for the brain, and for a really good reason. This protein is absolutely essential for growing new brain cells, protecting the ones you already have, and strengthening the connections between them. And guess what? Walking is one of the absolute best ways to get your body to release more of it.
And then you've got dopamine. We hear about it a lot, but it's not just about pleasure. It's crucial for motivation. Now here's the cool part. Consistent walking can actually increase the number of dopamine receptors in your brain. This makes your brain more sensitive to dopamine's motivating effects. It creates this amazing positive feedback loop. The more you walk, the more your brain rewards you for walking.
So this diagram right here shows us that magic on a microscopic level. When you walk, your body releases that BDNF we talked about. That molecule then floats over and plugs into a special receptor on your brain cells, kind of like a key fitting into a lock. And that one simple connection kicks off this whole chain reaction inside the cell that promotes growth, survival, and what we call plasticity, the brain's ability to change. This right here, this is the biological engine of brain change, and it's powered by your feet.
Okay, this science is all pretty fascinating, but what does it mean for you, like right now? Let's boil it all down into a simple, practical guide so you can get these amazing brain benefits.
So what's the ideal prescription for our brains? The research points to a pretty clear formula. You want to aim for a brisk pace consistently over 3 miles an hour. Try to do it for at least 30 minutes about 4 to 5 times a week. But, and this is the best part, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Seriously, studies also show that all of your everyday movement counts. Taking the stairs, walking the dog, doing chores, it all adds up and it all contributes to a healthier, happier brain.
You know, this isn't a new idea. Philosophers and great thinkers throughout history have understood this deep connection between walking and thinking. Nietzsche just captured it perfectly. There's just something about moving through the world on our own 2 feet that seems to let our minds work at their absolute best.
And that really brings us full circle. Your brain is not some static organ designed to sit in a chair. It's a dynamic, adaptive system that was forged by millions of years of movement. So the final question is a pretty simple one. Are you giving your brain what it truly needs to thrive?